Hello, everyone. Jesus Penlosa here with Mambo Merge, and thank you for joining us for our first Office Hours webinar of this year. This month, Cynthia is going to be walking us through some of the basic functionalities, simple troubleshooting, and going over some of the new features that have just been released. Today is Thursday, January 12th, and we thank you for joining, and thank you, Cynthia, for doing this. Take it away.
Thank you, Jesus. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Here we are. So we're going to assume that you've already installed Mambo Merge from the AppExchange marketplace in Salesforce. So from there, you'll be going into your Salesforce org and selecting the object that you want to put Mambo Merge on. And this will be where you'll be getting your records generated. Today, I'm going to go with opportunity objects. This is one of our more common used ones, but you can put Mambo Merge on any object, even custom objects. So we'll go to a single record here. And I already have Mambo Merge already here, but I'm going to show you how we got him there. So we're going to go to setup, this little gear icon. We're not going to click setup, but we're going to go down to edit page. And this is going to take us to our Lightning App Builder. So on the Lightning App Builder, on the left side panel here, you can see all these components we can put on our page. In the center here is our preview of what our page is going to be looking like. And then on the right, you'll see details for each component. As you select them, it'll change to correspond to the component. So when I scroll down here, I'm going to find Mambo Merge, and I'm going to drag it down to where I like to have it, my favorite spot, but you can put it anywhere you like. As you drag it around, you'll see there'll be green highlights. These are where you can actually put it. So you can customize your page and have Mambo Merge being a more efficient spot for your team. On the right, you can see that our right panel here has populated with things corresponding to Mambo Merge. We have our template ID, and a few other things here. I'm going to go back over that, but right now we're just putting Mambo Merge on the page to get started. And the first step you want to do, obviously, is to start working on your template. We're back on our page. We have our Mambo Merge right here. And we're going to go and select our drop-down button. We have Setup, Template Builder, and Support. We're going to go look at our Template Builder first because we're building our template first. And Available Objects, this is where we'll select our objects that we want to use or to find our merge fields. So we're on the opportunity. The first one, obviously, is opportunity. We'll select a field here, and you'll see all these fields filling in. These are the fields that you see on your Salesforce page. The name that you see first is the one that you will see when you're looking at your Salesforce. The one in the parentheses is our API name for those fields. And that's the one that Mambo Merge is going to recognize. So if I was to select one of these, we'll go with my customer name. You'll see that right here in this box, we have our Mambo Merge field built out. So we could just go ahead, select it, copy and paste it, and take it to our template. Now, there are a few things. Mambo Merge only sees the fields that are on the record for those objects. So if for any case you wanted to get more details of your account or your contact, we would have to establish relationships. Now, that is a feature that's included in our Pro Edition, but we've done a wonderful little thing where we gave our free edition the opportunity line items and the opportunity contact roles. So we'll take a look at those just so that you can see what they look like. It fills out the same way. You can find all these fields. And when you put them in, it fills in. And you can see that it actually is saying a little bit more than just the API name here because it has to tell Mambo Merge, where is this field? It's not on this opportunity record. So it's going in and saying opportunity line items dot the list price. So we have those two ones already built in. You don't have to add a relationship. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys a template I built before I show you how to do added in relationships. So you can see here, this template I have, I've gone in and I filled in the fields. I have my billing that I'm sending to my client. It's got their account.name because if we pull up my record here, you'll see that I have account filled in, but it says highlight right here. Now, if I try to just put name account, I'm going to get the actual ID code of the account, not the actual name of the account. So that's why that relationship is needed to be developed. And you can also see in the template builder where I got that. So opportunity account name. And that's how I got that. So I copied. And copy and pasting is going to be your best friend because Mambo Merge wants to know exactly how. And it can be a little bit tricky. So I'm going to go ahead and enter. And you see, there's another little thing we want to keep in mind when we're building our template. These wonderful red lines that tell you you're misspelling a word. There'll be a blue line when you're doing something grammatically incorrect. And we're just trying to help you to make sure that your document is as clean and perfect as you want it. But unfortunately, Word does not recognize Mambo merge fields. So we want to go ahead and ignore all. But another thing that you can also do is add it to your dictionary because you're probably going to use this field again. Adding it to your dictionary helps Word learn what you're actually doing. So if this is a field that you feel confident you're going to be using over and over again in different templates, by all means, add it to dictionary. Otherwise, we can select ignore all. Another way to get to this option would be to go to editor and you'll see spelling and grammar. Usually in a large document, when you're first putting in all your template fields, you're going to see 39 or 5 here with grammar. You can select it. It'll pull up this part here and you can select ignore all and it'll actually cycle through all of your options so that you can finish your document a little bit faster. Then you want to make sure you always save. So we'll save our file here. I'm going to minimize him. Actually, we'll just drag him onto another screen. We'll close here. Now, the way Mambo Merge is set up right here is we can select a button and go and upload our files, or we can do a wonderful drag and drop. So I'm going to drag and drop a simple quote in. We'll see what happens. Mambo Merge let me know it's successfully generated. And because it was a drag and drop, it immediately downloads. So it pops up right here at the bottom of my screen. It's opening up. I'll show you guys what that looks like. So he's right here. You can see that all of these details are filled in. And let me pull up my template so that we can compare. So account name, I use this fun function here. It says upper, and it turned all the lettering into uppercase for me, while the rest have come out as I would like them to. And you can see all these details are coming in. Now, the fun thing here is this for each line. You can see that Mambo Merge went in and actually put in 3 lines, and I've only had 1 here. So the for each is doing that related object, and it's taking that detail and saying, for every one of those related objects, please put in this data for me. So quantity, I got different quantities here, my product name, my list, and my pricing. So documentation is a lot bit easier with Mambo Merge. We could do so much with just a simple install, not doing anything crazy, even just barely scratching the surface of Mambo Merge. But how do I get the option so that my user doesn't have to have the file on their computer and they have to keep dragging and dropping? That's the next step of using Mambo Merge. And went a little bit fast there, so let me show you again. We clicked our drop down. Instead of template builder, we're going to setup. And then here you see all these configurations. What are configurations? These are the things that are guiding Mambo Merge. It tells them we have more than one template, or we even have just one template, but we can add in advanced features to it. So this wonderful configure 1 is the first one that I have. And this is the one we're going to look at today. So looking at it, you see primary object set to opportunity because we're on the opportunity object. My configuration ID, this is going to be my most important friend to remember. So I'm going to copy him. We'll probably copy them again before we leave this page just in case. And then display button type. This will be how I want my Mambo Merge templates to be displayed. So I can have buttons, or I can have a drop-down list view, kind of like this one here, and I would select what I want to do. So we have two templates here, invoice and quote. We also have post-merge actions. So I'm going to make a duplicate of my invoice so that we can see what it looks like when I add it. So I hit my add template. You have your label, destination, file ID, generated file name. What does this all mean? Well, label is going to be what is on the button. So invoice demo. So I know the difference between the other one. And destination is where does this file go when I select the button? Do I want it to download immediately? Do I want it to attach to the record? Or another fun one is, do I want it to save it to a library? Maybe you don't need all these files put into your records. Maybe you need them in a library for one person to have access to or a team to have access to. You'll be able to choose that. We're going to go with attached to record because it's supposed to be an invoice. Makes sense. And so here, did that fast again. So here is the file ID. Normally, you would have to go and search this out, but we've built in a search option. I select it again the second time. There we go. And it takes us to this wonderful screen where it looks like our files file tab in the Salesforce org. So we can select through here and find our simple invoice that I've already got. Or as I like to manage my templates, I make them and put them in a library. It makes it so much easier for me to find them, especially because if I'm looking at every file I own, this is a small org, not too much, but in your actual business, you might have a lot more files coming in, especially with reports. So we're going to go to our template library. And then I will find my simple invoice. There it is. And just select it. And it filled in my file ID for me. So I didn't have to go and look that information up myself. Now, the only thing is that it generated the file name for me. So it put in the file's name that I selected. But I don't want to have a whole bunch of simple invoices hanging out in my Salesforce org that all have the same name. So to make it a little bit more clear on what's happening, I'm going to go ahead and add in a merge field. You can put in any merge fields into your generated file name, and it'll actually put it out for you. So I'm going to put my name, invoice, and I like to use today. Lets me know in case I made Bob's invoice on Monday and I came back and we had to change something for Bob's invoice on Thursday. Now I know which one is the latest. So we can go ahead and hit save, but there's a few more things that I want to show. We can also turn this into a PDF file. This is a feature reserved for our Pro Edition. And when you download Mambo Merge, you are on a Pro Edition. So you have access to explore all of our features for up to 30 days. So we could go ahead and give this a try. We'll convert to a PDF. And then once you've started to select convert to PDF, you do have show preview. That's a fun way to look at the document before you decide to save it in case you need to back out and adjust any fields that might be wrong. We'll leave it at, let's leave it for the show preview because we have both of these options that are going to show us our invoice. And I'm going to go ahead and remove this post-merge action so we don't get confused. So we just have invoice, quote, and invoice demo. And you'll see quote, download immediately, invoice demo attached to the record, but it's showing us our PDF preview. And then invoice attached to record, but it's just being a doc. So we're going to go ahead and save. And we want to remember we copied our configuration ID. Now, the reason we want to do that is because when you have basic Mambo Merge here, we can set it to a file with our template file ID. But we're going to use that same step to do our configuration. So we go back to our gear icon up here. We're going to hit Edit Page. It loads us back into the Lightning App Builder. And our wonderful friend is going to pop up any minute. No. Okay, cool. So template ID is where we would normally put our template ID for the file. So you know how in our configuration, we were able to search and it inputted that file ID for us? Well, if we're on a free version of Mambo Merge, or even if you're in a Pro edition, you still have this option. You can go find that file ID, look it up yourself, and then apply it into this field right here. But with the Pro edition, you'll want to try this one out where you get to have more than one option. So configure one, there we are. And you can already see our preview changed. We now have buttons that say invoice quote, invoice demo. So we're going to save this. But one thing I want to remind you is this is cap sensitive. So if I go back and I just put a lowercase c, click over here so it reloads, it doesn't work. So that's one thing to keep in mind. It's cap sensitive when it comes to your configurations. There it is. So let's hit save. Changes saved. Perfect. We go back. And then here's our buttons right here. Looking beautiful. So we're going to go ahead and try our quote first. See what happens. Similar to how we did the drag and drop. It told us our merge was successful, automatically downloaded it for us. Let's close that. We already saw what that looks like with our drop option. So we'll go ahead and click our invoice. And this is the one that is just going to give us a doc file. So we get a success. We also get this link here. This lets us, if we click it fast enough, and I did not, it'll let us automatically download it. But if we go down to our related list here, and we go to notes and attachments, and these might look differently on your page setup because how you have it on your system. But here we find our document right here at 1/12/2023, 10/19. Yes, that is me right there. So we can actually select that and we'll preview it, and you can see all our info is being inputted right there. Perfect. Let's go back to that and try our PDF and see how that looks. So I select my invoice demo. And perfect. Looks exactly as I wanted it. So if I don't hit save to Salesforce, this file does not get saved. So you have to go ahead and confirm that this is what you want, hit save, and then it will save it to your record. So it's doing its thing, converting the file, saved it, and let's click that button. Perfect, I got it. So it did that automatic download. So you do have the option to download it immediately after you made it. If you're watching a screen and you want to click that link, it'll fill it in, bring it up for you. And there it is, just as we wanted. Let's make sure it's in our attachments. Perfect, PDF right there. Same name. Wonderful. So there's a few more things I want to show you guys before we finish this up. And that was those post-merge that we kind of glanced over. I deleted one real quick, but we have these options here. So we hit add post-merge action. We can update a record here. I have a record status in here that I want to use, status. And this is an invoice being generated, so I'll select that. And then if I add one more, let's send an email. You can find a field that you have where you have your email set for your customer. I built this field in here, so it's not a it's a custom field for a standard object. Then you use your email templates from Salesforce. And then you can set a org-wide email address. But if you don't, it's just going to use the user who clicks the button's email. So I'm the user, it's going to use my email on my profile. So we'll go ahead and save those, and we'll see what that looks like. Now these run after the merge is complete. So that was on my invoice. You see that I have nothing here telling me of activities. Let's make sure my status is not set so we can see it change. And we'll hit invoice. There's our document. Something happened here. An email was sent. and invoice generated right there. So these are some of the pro features that you can start using once you download Mambo Merge with your 30-day trial. I'm going to return it back to Jesus to see if we have any questions available.
Thank you, Cynthia. And yes, we actually had a question in the chat coming up here. What's it called? Can Mambo Merge auto-select the templates based on conditional formatting?
They can. So when we go to that edit page, this is the most simple setup. We go and we select our component here. And all these features that are on here, this is going to be component visibility. So we could set up that we would have a condition that our configuration would only show up if we selected a certain requirement. So let's see, first time buyers, I want to have a certain thing. So if it's true that this is a first time buyer, this Mambo Merge field is going to appear. Now, let's say I have another Mambo Merge component that I've dragged in here. And we're going to add the filter to do the opposite. So back to first time buyer. And I want to put false. I want him to appear if there's no. And we'll leave it blank without a configuration or template ID just so that we can see what's happening real quick. So we'll save this. Changes saved. Perfect. We'll go back. Our page should look as it did before with only one. So we have only one set up here. But if I go over, first time buyer was selected, and I unselect that, save it. Now my merge field, my Mambo Merge has like changed. So you could have several configurations to correspond to situations that you want to display, and then control the component that is visible for you. There's other ways that we can do it. We can do it with flows. We can do it with custom code. But this is going to be the user-friendly, quick, fast, straight to the point way to get it done.
Thank you. We did have somebody raise their hand here in the audience to go ahead and ask an additional question.
Sorry.
Yeah, my question was, how do I update Mambo Merge when an update comes out? Like I heard there's one next week.
Yeah, so next week there should be a Mambo Merge update happening, and you'll automatically be updated. The only time that we do not update your Mambo Merge for you is that you've reached out and let us know that you do not want to have Mambo Merge updated. And that tends to be our Pro Edition people who have large companies, and they're doing updates of their own where they're controlling the stages of their org.
Awesome.
So
Thanks.
you're good. Anything else?
Awesome. I did have a question myself, following up that question there. Is there any particular feature that people should be looking forward to? Any hints, anything you can kind of tease us or kind of give us a heads up on?
So the upgrade is going to be happening. It's going to change the way our setup looks. So if we go to setup right now, it'll look pretty similar here. You'll have all your configurations listed, but we'll be able to do so much more with configurations besides edit and delete. We'll also be having it go through a wizard where it'll be much more clear and helpful when you're developing your configurations, rather than having everything masked up on your page and get a little confusing. And then you're here with several things just happening all at once and scrolling for days. And nothing's smooth and simple. And you could get a little lost on your first day going in here. So with our new feature, we're going to hold your hand, walk you through it so that you can add each thing and understand clearly what is happening when you choose this option, when you choose this next option. And it's going to blow your guys' mind. You'll enjoy it very much.
Awesome. We did get another question here on the chat. Does Mambo Merge support images in a rich text field?
Yes, it does. Let's do a quick little thing. I have on this one, related objects, we have 3 products. We go in I've used images. They say sample image, but you guys can use your imagination to have it be a product image for this product here. So if I wanted to change my invoice, instead of showing just the description, I want to get that detail, the name with my product image. So let's go back. And let's make sure I know which one is my template here. So we'll go to Template Builder. And you know what? We'll need to change this back to first time buyer to get our configuration back. There we go. So Template Builder here. And opportunity lines, items. And you'll see if we scroll down, we'll find that rich text description that I had made so that I can have my product image in there. So you can select that and we could copy that into our field. Let's look at our template real quick. I've already pasted in. Now this looks a little different from what's on here. This is if I wanted to just have one item appear. This one is going, all of the items is going to cycle through. So this for each holds that opportunity line. And then I can put in inside this bigger merge field into a smaller merge field. And that's why this one is all by itself, looking different. But we have all the names there so Mambo Merge can find it. So I have this guy here, paste it in. What we can do is go back and we'll pull up the blank one. Or actually, let's show you a great way to update your files. So we go back to our Files tab. We go to our library. We go to our Mambo Merge template library. And then my simple invoice is here. I'm going to upload a new version. This way I don't have to change the file ID number of my file. So every time you upload a new template, you have to change that template ID to match it. But this way, I've uploaded my template once, I made some changes, I can just update that template for me. So I'll go to my file here, and my simple invoice is right there with my changes. I select it, add rich text field so that I know what I'm adding to my file. It's always great to make sure you know. That way, if you need to go back to fix something or you didn't like the change you made, you know what that change was. So if I go back to my field here, I'm going to select my invoice. We'll go ahead and download it so I can look at it. Here we are. And there they are. Images in our rich text happening on our page. It's perfect. Any other questions, or are we coming to the end of our time? I don't want to hold everyone up.
No, that was great, and thank you for answering all those questions there. I think we're good for now. I did want to thank everyone for joining, and if you do think of questions 10 minutes after this call, as it happens, feel free to send it our way. Our next office hours webinar is scheduled for Thursday, February 9th. So follow us on social media or email us to add you to the list. Thank you, Cynthia, for running us through this and answering questions. Thank you, folks, for asking questions, and have a wonderful rest of your day.